Oh, hello, and welcome to Al Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta, and be critically silly doing it. Tonight we have the Midnight Man Challenge. So the Midnight Man Challenge was posted by PandorasBot on creepypasta.wiki. They may or may not be the author. It's kind of hard to say sometimes.
Well, one would assume that the poster is the author, correct?
Sometimes they're the person that posted on creepypasta.wiki is just the person that wanted it on creepypasta.wiki, for posterity.
Yeah.
Because some of them are anonymous, like internet stories.
I suppose.
But for the sake of our show, PandorasBot, wow, PandorasBot is the person we're giving credit to. And if that changes, somebody get a hold of us, and I will freely change that. Moving on. Something I realized while we were doing over the last couple of times when we've been getting stories and credits and stuff like that, I was like, oh, this person may not entirely be the creditor.
You can at least credit them with putting it there, but yeah. Unless they put at the end of the story written by so and so, then you don't really know, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah. But anyway, so Midnight Man Challenge, semi-continuation of our previous episode where we brainstormed ideas for the Midnight Man ritual, and now we're seeing a story that was based off of that ritual, and seeing how they handled it.
And these aren't by the same poster, right?
No.
Okay.
So the story starts with our rundown. Anthony, as we find out, his name is Anthony. In the interview, Sarah, his girlfriend, mentions his name. Yep.
I'm gonna have to double check that. You keep going.
Cool. Anthony is a college level researcher that wants to discover something. Apparently his dad discovered something really cool, and so now he wants to discover something, and he figures the supernatural avenue is the way to go. So, you found it?
Yeah, his name is Anthony.
Yeah.
Well then.
So he starts looking into creepypasta rituals like Smile Dog and whatnot, or rituals like Smile Dog, but
That's totally not a ritual.
Finds the Midnight Man ritual through.
No. He doesn't
find it through the internet. He finds it through the. I was about to get to it.
Yeah.
Finds the Midnight Man ritual through a series of disappearances, or one mass disappearance.
Yeah.
Would you like to continue this?
Just go ahead, Mikey, go.
Yeah.
You think it's so easy? Go ahead.
Okay, so he's complaining about his girlfriend going to a reunion.
Yes.
And
I was hoping to get rid of all that fluff.
the way he gets a newspaper, because his girlfriend occasionally gives him a newspaper, he reads an article about missing persons.
Yes.
Which he then researches that and finds out the main person who went missing's Facebook page, and through the picture on their Facebook page determined the house that was just a couple blocks from where his girlfriend lived, and then...
But you're leaving out the part where the newspaper article specified that they were, right before they disappeared, the authorities saw on the person's internet logs that the last thing they looked up was the Midnight Man ritual.
Yes.
And that was in the actual...
In the article, yes. I have some words about the article, by the way. So, do you want to continue or should I?
You can continue.
Okay.
Now that he has thoroughly corrected you.
Yeah, so after the reunion, and after some dinner and the next morning, they drive back to Sarah's place and then go to... And Sarah decides that she wants to go tag along and find out, help him out with this. And
Because she knows that this is like his dream to do this thing.
And so they go to the parents' place of the missing, have an interview with them, like kind of like just straight up ask for like any evidence regarding the Midnight Man and like surrounding their missing kids and stuff. And the dad just hands them the camcorder that was found during the disappearances. And they go home and they start going through these like 15 video files that are like semi-corrupted, but there are like inklings of footage of scenes and stuff like that.
The power goes out before.
And then the power goes out, so like they have to use the laptop. And that's when Sarah goes to get some munchies.
I was going to say, how did you forget her name? That's the one name you should never forget.
But also lights a cinnamon candle. And then like get some a blanket, and they all just kind of, basically they just watch this. And then we are told that like he has compiled the scenes. This is what they watched. And so he just does basically a transcript of all the video files.
Yes.
And it's basically through spliced scenes, the kids that went missing vlogged the Midnight Man ritual. And it's basically the ritual for the most part, although there are some slight discrepancies. Like, they go to the porch right there, like, and knock, and like once they're done writing their name,
they're outside.
They're outside on the porch, and then knock on the door 22 times, and then walk in. Which I guess is a way to do it, but it still seems kind of weird.
A quick aside.
Yeah.
The first Midnight Man ritual, it was so vague about the door situation that I thought you would bring a door into the house and leave it on the ground.
That is true,
so,
yeah.
Who says which way it's supposed to be?
That is true, yeah. So they basically, they're roaming around the house. It's kind of spooky and like kind of, again, found footage like transcript. Everybody one by one, each character, or except for the main girl who has the camera, they essentially knock themselves out of the game and have to put themselves in a circle of salt. And they slowly basically break every rule.
Yes, every single one.
And there's even like a fake out jump scare at the like halfway through the story where like the girl goes upstairs because she hasn't gone upstairs yet, like as she's moving around, and there's a figure, like they describes a figure goes behind her, and then she's like, "Oh God, what's that?" It's like, "Sorry, I had to use the shitter." It's like, "Damn it!" Or what's the kid's name?
Quentin.
Damn it, Quentin! Like it's like you're breaking the rules, and then it's like, "Look, babe, I don't need like this. You know this thing's not real, right?" And then she basically the main character in the videos,
super superstitious.
Superstitious. Her name is
Maddie.
Maddie. Yeah, it's Maddie, Quentin, Corey, and
Victoria.
I thought it was Corey. Or no, Tori. That's what it was.
Yes,
Short
form.
Short form Tori, and then the other Chase was the other guy.
Yes.
So eventually, she gets super. She's the only one left, Maddie, and she's roaming around, and like things are happening, like little like creepy things are happening in the dark. Like I think her candle goes out a couple of times. She's able to actually light it fast enough, and then
like there's noises in the kitchen and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like so she's like super freaking out, and they're all like in a candle, or they're on chalk circles basically in the living room or something.
Salt circles.
Salt circles, yes.
Yes.
When this happens, and
so they're essentially just hanging out until 3:33.
yeah, and again,
Tori has to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Tori has to go to the bathroom. She goes upstairs, and they hear a scream, and Chase tries to get
Chase gives chase.
Chase gives chase, but asks Quentin to help out, and so like they leave Maddie alone in the circle, and they go upstairs and they just like they don't hear from him again, and then like it like slowly goes down, like burns down to like 2 minutes, or like from like half an hour to 2 minutes to like the ritual's over. She goes and checks and finds like their like unconscious bodies. And she just starts freaking out and runs out the house. As she's running out onto the street, she trips, and the camera falls and in a way that faces where she was running from. Mm-hmm. And you see this figure slowly moving toward her. Mm-hmm. And that's where the video ends. And then apparently that's when the cinnamon candle that when they were watching the video on the laptop goes out. And that's the end of the story.
Yes.
So everyone expects the grammar inquisitions at this point.
Yes.
So, starting with the article. Starting with a quote. After reading articles about the supposed smile dog, I've been trying to make a natural breakthrough discovery.
Supernatural breakthrough.
Yeah, sorry. I've been trying... What did I say?
Natural. Natural breakthrough. It's entirely different.
It's a regular natural.
Yes.
I've been trying to make a supernatural breakthrough discovery myself. So, I feel like you could probably get rid of either breakthrough or discovery. Like, you don't need both. Like, you could... I'd personally go, do away with discovery. Because, like, he mentions discovery earlier. Like, his dad made a discovery kind of earlier. Like, he mentions that. And then he's like... I feel like breakthrough would just have, like, spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, they both work. But that's true. They're both not necessary. With mine, because I had this written down as well, all I do is remove the comma between discovery and myself, because I felt that was weird. It's essentially going, after the first comma, I've been trying to make a supernatural breakthrough discovery. Myself.
Yeah. No, like,
I'm saying that the pause is weird. Like, here's the two ways it's read. It's either, I'm trying to make a supernatural discovery myself, or I'm trying to make a supernatural discovery myself.
Or maybe by myself, or like on my own kind of thing. I don't know, like...
Or maybe...
No, he just wants credit for doing it.
Yeah.
He's not saying specifically, like, I have to do it alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Or maybe he is a supernatural discovery.
Oh.
He is the Midnight Man.
My God. What a revelation.
Also, supernatural research. Great for generally a fun idea to work with. Can't see this going poorly at all.
Nah.
was my main comment on that. I was like, yeah, this is gonna go great.
Yep.
And then my next comment is, once I had gotten there, I had planned to give her a ride back to my place because of her family reunion that'd be just 5 minutes from my house. So that was all one sentence. It's not super run on, but I feel like it could be reworked. Like I had seen an article about it in the Oak Castle Times while on a visit. Wait, what? Wow,
That's a different quote.
That's a different quote entirely. Hang on.
Did you make it?
Plan to give her a ride once I got
Yes. Okay, I did. I just apparently added the extra bit there. I was giving her a ride. Oh, I was using that first one as like context to what was about to be said. I was giving her a lift back to my place since she had a family reunion only 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
There, done. Like, just. Then the next one is. So while Sarah was at her reunion, I'd do some research, or I'd do my research and hopefully come out with some facts I can use to narrow down what caused the teens to go missing. I feel like it should be could, not can. Like, and hopefully come up with some facts I could use to narrow down what caused the teens to go missing.
Because this is in the past.
Well, also this is a planning stage. You haven't done anything yet. Like, you're planning on doing something.
Yeah, but I could say, like, when we're done this recording, I'm gonna go home so I can play Warframe. Is that wrong?
No, that's true. Yeah,
Just like he could go home and he could play Warframe.
But that's giving the option that there is a possibility of that not happening. Mm-hmm. What you're saying this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you're going to do your best to play Warframe.
Yes.
Okay.
Just like he's doing his best to find things
and stuff in equal amounts.
Okay.
But yeah, I always find that weird. Like when you're there's yes, it is a tense situation because if he's saying that. He's doing it now, but he's not. He's talking about what he wants to do in the future, and at that point in time, he will be there in the current time doing that thing. So it's weird.
Okay, so I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the next one is if I ever wanted to make this discovery, I'd have to do I'd have to take a leap of faith and try to find that house when I dropped off Sarah the next day. According to Sarah, she had a great night. I feel like this should be a new paragraph, like...
What, according to Sarah?
According to Sarah.
Because it has nothing to do with everything else.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a part of the interview. Or I think this is... Oh, yeah, no, this is... yeah. So, M. They left 5 minutes ago. Quentin! No response.
That's not the interview, that's the...
Sorry, sorry. This is
videos.
So this is the transcript of in the videos and stuff at this point. So, Maddie. They left 5 minutes ago. Quentin! No response. Nothing. Maddie again. Chase! Nothing. Okay, so where a little later repeating nothing is effective for tension, I feel the second nothing in this instance isn't necessary. Like, it just says nothing, dot, period, nothing, period. But I don't know, like...
Would it be better if it was still nothing?
Yeah, still nothing I think would work better.
Or more nothing.
Yep.
No.
Maybe not.
No, totally not that one.
Yeah, no. And then the next one is she walks to where her 4 friends went, near the steps to her second floor. 4? There's Chase, Quentin, and Tori. Who's number 4?
She's friends with the Midnight Man.
Yeah.
That's why she's respecting his laws. What a revelation.
Gee, a little more enthusiastic.
I mean, they're not really revelations.
No.
So I'll point them out, but yeah.
Yeah. After watching these clips, Sarah and I just sat and... Yeah. Hang on. Okay, yeah. After watching these clips, Sarah and I just watched... Oh, yeah. After watching these clips, Sarah and I just sat there cradling each other in our arms. I think a comma needs to be added between clips and Sarah, just to like... Because after watching these clips, comma, Sarah and I just sat there cradling each other in our arms.
Yeah.
And that's my grammar Nazis, or my grammar inquisitions, or whatever we're calling it nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Alright. First one. It begins with because.
I was going to write that down. Like, Mikey's going to nail this. It's fine.
Yeah. Because of the long drive there, Sarah insisted that she drove back instead of me.
That's in quotations?
No. Well, drove is just... Well,
why did you say drove? Like,
Because that's the
word.
Yeah, that's the extent. That's the outlier.
Yeah.
That's the highlight thing he wants to get highlighted.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Because it... Do I need to read it without the highlightedness?
Yeah, that threw me off.
Alright. Because of the long drive there, Sarah insisted that she drove back instead of me.
She drive back instead of me.
Yeah.
It's a tense issue.
But you're talking about something in the past.
No. I'm sorry. That one needs to be drive.
Yeah.
But it's like you're talking about someone, what they said in the past.
Hearing that read the way at least the way he read it, it needs to be drive.
Okay, I'll take it or leave it. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't care enough to argue it. That's the thing.
Alright. The next one begins with so.
I did not see that one.
So I sat in the passenger seat while she kept going on about how excited she was to see her family members that she hadn't seen since she was X years old.
So 10. We could just use 10.
I mean, it could be. Like,
I know I'm being.
Also, you really
Yeah.
don't need this. So you could just I sat in the passenger seat.
Yeah. During the so, and it would be nice to either clarify that it's 10 years and not to say...
It's not 10 years.
It does not mean... It doesn't... Honestly,
Yeah.
It means insert
yeah.
Year here.
Yeah, they're just being it's not important, which is basically my problem with this whole... The first 2 fucking pages...
Oh, snap!
...is that there is... The first 2... Or the first 2 sections of... Or 2 pages of this story are so fucking incongruously... They're not necessary. It's all fluff. Doesn't need to be there.
Padding.
Yeah, legit. Just that reunion thing is just it goes nowhere.
It's not supposed to go anywhere.
I don't care. It doesn't need to be.
It's
in the
not
story.
the midnight reunion.
Right? Yeah. No. Exactly. It doesn't go anywhere. So it shouldn't be mentioned in the story. It's not necessary.
But this is what was happening in his life when he found out about things. It just doesn't have any relevance to the actual story.
Yeah. So
that's
get
still...
rid of it.
Right.
But anyway, sorry. I'm taking over. Hey, back to Mike.
All right. The next one that I have, I personally would like to be rewritten because it is a bit clunky.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get on my exit when I finally came about the 4 missing teenagers.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I don't know why.
They found them.
Oh, wow!
They came about.
No. But yeah,
40 points.
yeah, that's good points. Do you get bonus points because they're missing as well?
+5.
That's pretty good. I'll take that. Yeah.
So it's what?
That's too much math.
60 points.
But yeah, it is weird. It should be that's when I read that part.
Yeah.
About the thing with the stuff.
When I reached it in the article.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have how you fix it or no?
No, I didn't get that far.
You just left it there for us to fix it.
Fucking
Yep.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah. We ended up fixing a little bit.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm not looking forward to reading all of that.
Yeah, I have words as well.
I have a whole paragraph or two.
Alright.
Me too. You might not have to do it.
This one's already been touched in a grammar Nazi, but it's also part of an actual thought, so I'll come back to it when
We'll
I
do
get
it
there.
now. Yeah, you should have chimed in with it previously. Well, actually, not really. Either way, just go ahead.
Well, it began with so that's really my big issue.
Okay.
But the issue is something that Cultist came up with, which we found out wasn't really an issue. But
Cool.
Here's the quote anyway. So while Sarah was at her reunion, I do my research and hopefully come out with some facts I can use to narrow down what caused the teens to go missing. So, you brought that up because we can. But I'm bringing it up because and the fact that this sort of broke my immersion because of the way the previous paragraphs are structured.
Yeah.
Broke my immersion.
Yes.
Because of the talk about the reunion from a previous paragraph, which I have the quote here. Following the reunion, we had planned to go out to eat some fancy restaurant. Yeah.
To eat a fancy restaurant. The entire building. Did you actually say that?
No, there's an act. I just glazed over that at so quickly.
It's not necessary.
Nice.
It's like when you're reading an email, you don't need to say ads.
Again, not to interject an actual thought on
I mean,
this.
it's already happening.
I
You're interjecting
hate how padded this is.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we planned to go out to eat at some fancy restaurant and crash back at my place because of the long drive, da-da-da-da-da. So I sat in the passenger seat while she kept going on about how she was excited. Before leaving, of course, I took a newspaper, which she had saved for me, as usual, and an egg and cheese on a toasted bagel, which she had made for me and was delicious, might I add.
See, my comment. Sorry, I'm going to interject. Why? Why do we need to know you had a delicious egg and cheese on a toasted bagel? Aside from showing that your girlfriend makes you a sandwich, it doesn't really add anything to the story. Move on.
Yeah, it adds delicious bagels to the story.
I just like. Cool, you're in a relationship. You're in a pretty decent relationship. That's not the focus of the story. The focus of the story is about the Midnight Man. Your research on the Midnight Man challenge.
Yeah.
But
don't you think research on the Midnight Man challenge would be made infinitely better with delicious bagels?
No. I don't.
You wouldn't want to have delicious bagels while you're researching things that are creepy?
No.
Wow.
I just need coffee. Coffee and maple syrup. That's all I need.
Yeah.
So, my issue is that when I first read the paragraph, I assumed that the reunion was already done.
I have a lot of words about this, if you want me to tackle
So
that for you.
So we're all just like this, I take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just get into it for this, and then I'll continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
The grammar Nazi.
Oh, so me go ahead? Or you? What time?
Well,
I left this in my. I actually had this in my actual thoughts, but I guess
that's why I said it's a grammar Nazi that bleeds into the actual thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So it's just the whole following the reunion. When I heard that's okay, so they're done the reunion, and she's talking about how it was great to see her family members that she hadn't seen since she was X years old.
Yeah.
And then I just, for whatever reason, assumed that it was a leftover egg and cheese toasted bagel from the reunion.
But no, it's just
No,
she made it.
Yeah.
When he picked her up from her place.
Yeah.
That's
And that's how my mind interpreted it. And then when we get down to the issue, or
like 2 or 3 paragraphs down.
two paragraphs down, to where I have this, where I mentioned this whole issue where, so while Sarah was at her reunion, I thought the reunion had already passed, and I was like, what?
Honestly, that entire paragraph I ripped apart sentence by sentence in my notes.
Really?
Yes.
Let's hear it, buddy.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Do you have any more, or is that the last one for you?
Well, that's... I have more grammar Nazis, but they're further down.
Well, you can go ahead. I can wait.
But
I feel like we should.
I feel we should
Let's
just
just
get out of the
Let's
way.
just tackle.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Paragraph 2
Okay.
is where I had all these problems. It's where I started seeing continuity issues. Like, just reading the paragraph itself, I felt like I was constantly having whiplash of, like, what's going on. So I had to write out the entire paragraph, sentence by sentence, to understand it.
Yeah.
So the first one, it's saying, in May 2013, you just began to read about the disappearance of the people at the place, seen an article about it in the newspaper at the girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
So, in May 2013, that's in the past perspective of Narrator Man, which I thought he was Narrator Man, but he's not.
Yeah.
Actually, at this point, he was Narrator Man to me.
It wasn't
This is-
until we got the interview that we
before.
found out it was Anthony.
But, yeah. It's saying that he began to read it then. Okay. So it sounds like he's at the girlfriend's house and he gets the paper and reads it there. Once I had gotten there, I planned to give her a ride back to my place because her family reunion, that'd be just 5 minutes from my house. So the plan is to pick her up from her house, drive back near his place because that's where the reunion is. Okay.
Yeah.
Following the reunion, we had planned to go out and eat at a fancy restaurant, blah, blah, blah. Fine. My quote is actually fine. It's the one part where I don't have a problem with it. Or rather, I don't have to clarify it to myself. Because of the quote-unquote long drive, Sarah insisted that she drove back instead of me. So does that mean the 5-minute drive from his house to the reunion? Or is that referring to going back to her place?
No, I believe the people where the reunion is taking place, it's 5 minutes away from his place.
Yes, I know.
But it's apparently they're in 2 separate towns, maybe?
Yes,
Yeah.
but this is what I'm asking. The quote-unquote long drive is from her
place.
from him driving to her place, right?
Yeah.
And then it sounds like she said, "Well, because you drove all the way here, like I'll drive back." So is that referring to driving back from there, like from her place to his town, or specifically from his house to the reunion? Because it seemed like from the get-go he was going down to pick her up, bring her back to his place, and then go to the reunion after.
My guess would be that she is driving between
Towns,
the towns.
I guess.
We'll just call them the towns because that's
Yeah,
how
it could be in the same town for all we know, but
it's just farther away.
Yeah. So either way, so I sat in the passenger seat while she kept going on about how excited she was about the family members, blah, 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 X years old. So, because this is said right after talking about the plans after the reunion, I'm led to believe that this is after the reunion, where they're talking about it. So, like, they're in the process of going to the restaurant after the reunion, because she's saying, "Oh, well, I was happy to see blah, blah, blah." So it seemed like. And also, at this point, Narrator Man... it's not Narrator Man.
It's Anthony.
Anthony seemed kind of rude, because he's like, he's talking about how she kept going on about her family that she hasn't seen in years. It's like he does not care.
Yeah.
Like he's even reading a paper at this
he's
point.
He's super focused.
He just does not care.
Yeah.
Before leaving the course, I took a newspaper. Oh, of course. Okay. So then right after that, before leaving the course, I took a newspaper, which she had saved for me, blah, 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 egg and cheese.
So,
We were talking about this. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, specifically before leaving, what is that referring to even? Is that referring to before leaving her place, he got the egg and cheese?
Yes.
But
and the newspaper.
Yes. It almost sounded like this was before leaving his place to go to the reunion. As in, like, he went down, picked her up, brought her back to his place, and then went to the reunion. That's what I assumed the first time, and until I read later, I didn't know.
See, okay, I really didn't have that big of a problem with this. Like, I feel it was like, so he drove to her place, picked her up, had an egg and cheese, and then got the newspaper. They drove back down to his place. And
No, see, you're wrong already. You're immediately wrong.
Hang on. Drove back to in the vicinity of his place, went to the reunion. He dropped her off, did some research during the time of the reunion, because he wasn't there, part of the reunion. Then picked her up, and then they went to a restaurant, then to his place, and then the next morning, he went from their place to Sarah's place.
Yes.
And then went to the house that...
I know this, and we know this because we've read the entire story.
Yeah.
But this was my thought process going through this paragraph, because... sentence by sentence, it doesn't really lay out what's happening, and you need to read the entire thing before you understand what's going on. That's my whole point with this entire paragraph. And then the whole point of the part of we're about to get on my exit finally came about the teenagers. At this point, I wasn't even aware he was reading the newspaper, because the previous...
So you kind of visualize that they're just like, hey guys, can we get a lift?
No. You're just assuming weird things. It's, okay, he's sitting in the passenger seat, so she's driving, which I was assuming was from the reunion back to his place or going to the restaurant, because they're talking about, oh, well, I was happy to see blah, blah, blah. So going to the restaurant. And then, and specifically, it's saying, like, right before that, it said, which I took a newspaper that I took from blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't say he's reading it, so it just seems like he's just kind of holding the newspaper, or it's in the car, and then all of a sudden, it talks about him coming across this section in the newspaper. Like, I wasn't even aware he was reading it at that point. I assumed he was just sitting there talking to his girlfriend, but no, he's just ignoring her reading the newspaper.
Basically.
Which is real nice of him. And then after reading the entire article... It says, so while Sarah was at a reunion, I'd do this. So then at this point, I'm like, oh, well, you're not even at the reunion yet.
Yeah, you just dropped it off.
Yeah, it's just constantly going back and forth in my mind, and I can't get a good feel of the...
It's almost like this entire section of the story should not exist or be completely retooled down to like a paragraph or two. Just because...
It should exist, it's just... It doesn't flow smoothly. The time doesn't flow correctly. It's going back and forth.
To me, this section and like the last thing that happens in the story are a wraparound around the main thing, which is that transcript. Everything else is superfluous. And again, that 2 pages could have easily been shortened down to like 2 paragraphs. And it would have made the story much better for me.
Yeah.
Because again, all I was seeing when I was reading that was fluff, a little bit of plot fluff. The interview, which is just give me plot, give me plot device, and then fluff, followed by, and now we introduce you to the main event, which is the transcript.
Well, pretty
Because
much.
really, the story doesn't feel like.
Okay, I don't mind there being background. My entire problem with that whole paragraph is just because it goes back and forth. If it was rewritten that time flowed normally, it's not like time flows a little bit and then he thinks about, oh yeah, by the way, when I was back here, I did this. So that means it teleported a bagel and a newspaper into my hand here. Then we can continue. It's like, actually, no, I haven't gone to the reunion yet. So you go back and you have to retool everything you previously thought about the entire paragraph.
Sure.
So, but either way, if that was all rewritten, I agree with you, it would be better.
Yeah.
But I would say remove it. Because
personally, I would, but I know, but like you could retool it to be that same like page count or whatever, or that same like have that information on it. I personally think it's useless.
Because if
What?
you remove all that, how would you start it? It's just,
You just need the
I want to
how.
I want to make a discovery like my dad
I'll
did.
tell you
Here's what I found.
Yeah, it's like I'm a researcher into the occult. I'm trying to find. I've been trying to find like a discovery in like that the paranormal is real and stuff like that. And then
I came across this
I came
article.
across this article, and I did some investigation. I went to the person's house. I inquired with the
And
parents.
here's what
and stuff.
happened.
I was given this thing, and I have compiled it. I've compiled this thing, and here you go. Boom! It is basically like you
That's
either
like 3 sentences.
you make him an investigator, like a proper investigator, or make him a relative of the missing people who's trying to get to the bottom of this, or you keep it the way it is, or you have him be like
The random guy.
this random guy who's just trying to do a discovery, but make him more investigator than what he is. Like, again, like I'm sure like the fluff, like the backstory stuff is neat, but like honestly, Anthony's not the main character in the story. It's Maddie and her and the missing kids.
Yeah.
He's just basically the person that's there to give us the
He's
the
narrator
story.
man.
Yeah, he is the penultimate narrator. He is the archetypal narrator man. Yeah. He's there to provide us a wraparound of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I think it's safe to assume we all did not like that part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways, continue.
Back to your Inquisition.
Yes. Alright, so we got another sentence that begins with but.
Another one?
Yeah.
You got a double butt?
Yeah.
Damn.
But the one that I took note of was one of her hugging her father or uncle in front of what appears to be her house.
So the pictures.
Yeah.
Yep. And another one that begins with but. But
Actually, hang on. Before you butt that butt, the previous butt,
Yes.
even if you remove the butt, that's still a proper sentence because it's saying the sentence is starting with the one I recognized was this one of her hugging her
Yeah,
dad.
that's
If you just read that sentence on your own, you have no context to what's going on.
yeah, you don't know what the one is.
the photo. Then just put
Yeah,
the
just
photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, because there's no describer for that, does that make it...
People do that all the time.
I understand
it's not,
that.
It's not the best, but like, yeah, like being super nitpicky. Yeah, like it should just be.
Well,
the photo.
in the... Like, if
Grander
you're looking
scheme of
at it
things.
trying to be, this is completely 100% grammar perfect,
yeah.
does every sentence in something that's completely written 100% quote-unquote perfect, are you able to just take the sentence out and read it on its own and know all the context? Probably
Most of
not,
it.
right? Most of it?
Well, because every sentence has its own subject.
Yeah. And this one, the subject, it doesn't really say.
Is the one, which is a picture, but
But does that have to be clarified?
it's clarified earlier in the paragraph.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Which is the greater.
Oh, that's what
I think. Yeah, like,
that's what I'm asking. Like, I don't know if that's a thing where every single sentence has to be standalone.
I don't feel like it
No.
does
because then
Yeah.
you wouldn't have one sentence or one word sentences. Because those are pretty.
I suppose
Yeah,
they are pretty.
Like nothing.
They look real nice.
like nothing. blood.
Yes. But either way, that was just me thinking about things.
Yes.
I'll stop doing that. Brain off.
But as I'm sure you figured, I couldn't.
Okay, that's wow.
So yeah, another butt.
Yep.
We at triple butt territory?
Um.
Is there a quadruple butt?
Yeah. Hold on, I believe so.
Specifically scroll for butts. You're still scrolling through grammar-related things?
Well, it's all mixed in.
Yeah, this is why we do a list.
I wonder
It is
why.
a list.
I wonder why
You're not a good list, apparently. That's why
You want me to scroll down to see if there's more butts, so I had to scroll and scroll and scroll. So it's all Gamer's fault.
It's almost like if you had it as its own separate thing.
You almost feel as if you formatted it. Yeah. Just saying, man.
Or, after you do your notes, you can, because you
It takes
marked
me
it
like
as
5 minutes
grammar,
to
you
read
can
4
highlight
pages.
it and just Control X, Control V, move it around.
Yep.
Anyway.
That would be the less evil thing to do, though.
Yeah.
Because him doing this is generating this response from us. And the folks at home probably too.
Yeah. I'm sure they're screaming right now.
They're probably more mad at me for continuing this thought instead of letting him actually continue.
Yeah, let him continue.
So should I continue about me continuing?
Alright. There is another but it was earlier, and it's also part of an actual thought, which I'm pretty sure is an actual thought thing.
It's a proper but. It's not...
Well, but it is still sensitive, it's but.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. So there's a quad but, just so you know.
Yes. Well, there's 4 butts that aren't supposed to be there, specifically. So in the wrong location. So presumably there's a butt in the proper location, but there's also discrepancy butts.
Yes.
Cool. Moving on.
Yes. Future me is screaming at you guys so hard right now.
I'm sure.
I can hear it in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So I believe this is my last one. Until we get into the actual thoughts. If you are questioning as to whether or not read the rest, please don't.
I love read the rest.
But I want to.
No, you want read the rest.
I want to, yes.
Yeah, it has to be, yeah. There has to be 2 there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, whether or not to read the rest. Yep.
Alright. And that's it for your grammar analysis? Or impositions? Or
just discrepancies?
Good.
Okay. Good. Again, actual thought.
Yep.
Which I'm pretty sure will be brought up by someone else.
Probably.
Alright, so for my grammar-related discrepancies, first sentence, being my father's child, I've always wanted to make some groundbreaking discovery that would keep me remembered long after my death. I feel that being my father's child is not necessary.
Okay, we know he's... Yeah. Like,
Every single person that's alive is their father's child.
We don't know, but
if he's adopted, then he might not be his father's child.
He still is.
Okay. There is actually a phrase like "my father's son," like being my father's son or being my mother's daughter. It's like being being born and raised by this person. Like it's the same kind of thing as like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree kind of thing.
Okay, but
it
doesn't even talk about his dad doing something awesome.
It says it does kind of insinuate that his dad did make some kind of discovery or wanted to make some kind of discovery.
Assuming.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Again,
it could just start with...
You don't need to have it at all.
It could just start with, my father, back in his day, discovered this, and so I want to follow in his footsteps and make a discovery of my own.
That would have worked too, yeah.
I understand it, I just don't like the terminology of it, personally.
Yeah.
Because everyone's their father's child.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I just have the answer to that.
In your actual...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, later in the interview, Sarah says, "He doesn't mean it that way, we swear. His dad made a huge discovery in his time, and Anthony just wants to be like his dad." And after reading that, and thinking about the beginning paragraphs where it talks about Smile Dog.
Uh-huh.
Anthony's dad discovered Smile Dog.
My
God. My God.
His dad is Narrator Man too. I believe it's a Narrator Man on that one. I don't remember. What a revelation!
He's the journalist in that one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't it a journalist kind of guy? Yeah. My God.
That would be kind of interesting if if he says specifically.
This is like a sequel to Smile Dog?
No, it's just in the same universe.
Yeah, same.
That would be kind of interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, after reading articles about the supposed Smile Dog, the revelation that my father found in his day, then maybe, yeah, that'd be neat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I mean, this stuff is right up my alley, as spooky stories have been my favorite genre since I could read. I have a question.
Yes.
Would you classify spooky stories as a genre, or is that just horror?
Spooky stories, horror, it's the same thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Is there a-
Scooby-Doo horror, and then there's horror.
I mean,
that's kid
like
horror.
creepypasta.
Yeah.
Like in terms of creepypasta, like creepypastas are are short short horror stories online. They're fear or fear fiction.
Mm-hmm.
They're short horror fiction. Like,
but it's horror.
Yeah, it's all horror. Like spooky stories is a term for is at least a descriptor for horror genre.
I guess it's just when I combine that with the word genre, I would see this as a horror in the horror genre, not in the spooky story.
It's an oversimplified version of horror, but yeah, it's the same fucking term.
He's basically saying it's in the Scooby-Doo universe of horror.
Sure.
I mean, it's right there in the words.
Because it's spooky and not horror. So it's not very scary, but it's still kind of scary.
It might leave you up at night.
That's still horror, though.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of horror movies that are like, it's kind of scary, but it's cool. Jason killed that guy. That was cool.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It's not a problem that was keeping me up at night. It's just something I thought about at the time, using the word genre for that specifically. But either way. And the rest of my grammar-related discrepancies are just the paragraph 2 continuity problems that carry through the entirety of the story.
Yeah. All right. So
and your point also in regards to being my father's son and all that, and about when they're talking to the parents, and Sarah says, "Oh, he just wants to be like his father." Blah blah blah. That's fine, and yes, that does clarify that. But that clarifies that 3/4 of the way through the story.
Yeah, but I mean,
so that problem's been in my head the whole time. You know.
See, I feel like that's over.
But what I'm saying is that's my problem with this entire story.
Yeah.
It brings up a fact and clarifies it pages later. Every fact
but it's
that's
still
brought
part
up
of the main story. Like it's. Still
I'm not saying it shouldn't be there. I'm saying it's clarified so much later that I'm already angry about it when it's clarified.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nothing will feel good. Even the victory will be bittersweet. Like it's just I know it, but fuck.
Like I generally don't feel that feel pissed off when a story has information and then confirmation paragraphs or pages away. But I'm not. That's just the way I think. I can understand where you're coming from. You want that clarified right up front.
I'll agree and disagree with you on this because if it's something that is relevant to the plot, yes, because that's revealing information slowly. That's fine. But when you got the bagel. I don't need to know that later.
I really fucking hate that bagel system. I know. Again, I hate this. Again,
bagels here. I want to just burn one.
No, honestly, okay. So straight up, I almost I had a very sudden turnaround with the story where I was reading it and hating and I was like, "Fuck, this is going to be an 11-page story that I'm going to just have to edit and rip the shit into." And then I hit the transcript and I was like, "This is amazing."
I don't have to write notes anymore.
No. Spoilers for a little bit up ahead from my actual thoughts. No. I genuinely love the transcript story. And I feel like the first 2 section and the transcript were written by completely different people, it feels like. Because one of them...
they were. In lore.
I mean, it was in the lore. But I mean, they're written so differently.
Okay. Take it in the context of writing a story, and then the context of writing a video.
Yeah, I feel this author is much better at writing a video, a screenplay, than they are of writing I don't want to say normal because that's not the right word I'm looking for. Writing the narrative that's at the front of the story. I feel they are worse at writing that than they are of writing sequences and scenes.
So you're saying if they laid out the stuff before the transcript as scenes, like in a movie or whatever, it would probably flow better?
Yeah.
Instead of just information barf?
Yeah. And before I go into my actual thoughts, I will also state that I am heavily biased when it comes to found footage. I love found footage horror films more than I more so than produced film because
is it your favorite genre?
It is one of my favorite genres.
Yeah.
Since basically watching the Blair Witch Project, I have engrossed myself in as many horror found footage films as possible because they are a lot. To me, they feel a lot more immersive, and they feel a lot spookier and scarier.
Yeah, Marble
and
Horns probably helped with that too.
Marvel,
right?
well, again, it's probably why I like Slender Vlogs so much, or like creepy vlog series and stuff like that too. So I'm just prefacing like my opinion on this story is heavily biased by the fact that this story gave me exactly what I wanted in a narrative and got me immersed because of the style of writing.
Yeah.
Halfway through the story. But let's go into the actual thoughts at this point. So this is regarding the article. I'm not going to do the whole article. I'm just going to do the second half of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into here. After checking internet history on Quinton Jones's computer, what is found is instructions to a pagan ritual known as the Midnight Man game.
Also, so much porn.
which was opened on May 13th at 9:55:07 p.m. By piecing together evidence, it was assumed that the four had played this game at Madison's house before going missing. If you happen to see a tall 16 to 18-year-old girl with long black hair, snake bite piercings, and gray eyes, a boy with shaggy brown hair, blue eyes, and a large scar on the left side of his chin, another boy with spiked up black hair and hazel eyes, and lastly, a very tall girl with long blonde hair, glasses, and a nose piercing. Please report this to the police immediately. That is 4 to 5 lines of
Pages.
lines of
that's
run on.
nice.
But anyway, wow, this is the most plot-driven news article I've ever seen, and I don't know if this is because I read a lot of news articles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and see a lot of like murder ones and stuff like that. Honestly, this could use a bit more work, since it is supposed to be a newspaper article. The clues of or reasons for the disappearances could be constructed better, such as: after investigating Mr. Jones's computer and internet history, local police believe cult activity may be involved. Authorities are asking that anyone with information regarding an online pagan ritual called the Midnight Game, please contact them, etc. I doubt the reporters would care about the time the instructions were searched.
No.
And from a metatextual point of view, people reading this may have already looked up the Midnight Man and can deduce the time of for the ritual and stuff like that. Just in terms of like, because it's clear that that's just they're just like, oh, like they started this at like this time,
But it's not necessary.
Yeah, really kind of
It sounds like the real problem with that is the whole descriptions of all the teams.
Yeah, and
they should just make it so there's a sentence for
well,
each.
that's-
so Madison, she
like I
this
actually
tall.
just read while I was reading this, like half an hour or an hour later, I read a murder there was a shooting in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I read an article about it. And the way they did it, like, honestly, the story would, like, this person, like, if you want to, like, for anybody in general, if you mimic real life, if you're trying to mimic real life, like an article, like a newspaper article and stuff, read a newspaper article about missing peoples or murders and stuff like that, to get a feel for how editors and stuff like that, or writers and journalists write their stories. Mm-hmm. I feel like this was supposed to be kind of verbatim, like an article that the guy found. This was not an actual article.
No.
Yeah. Also, one thing I just realized when you did the rundown of the characters, they don't say the ethnicity of any of them.
No.
So they don't really give a proper visual.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Chase Rodriguez is...
Caucasian, Latino, or like tan skin, like stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
And going on to my actual thought that also pertains to the newspaper article, is that previously in the article, there's a sentence that begins with "but."
Oh my god, your butts.
to be fair, dude, newspaper articles, they don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they do not care about that shit.
Fair.
I'm sure the paginators and the people who are like editing the journalists like thing, or like the guys in pre-press care, but there is a lot of shit that just gets left because it's going to take way too much time. Fuck the typos. Like, typos are insignificant as long as they aren't going to ruin the story.
Yeah.
As long as it's not in a name and it's not in like a location,
A brand
as long as it's not who, what, where, and when. Like any of the like side stuff, like sentence structure and stuff like that. As long as it's readable, they don't care because they got a deadline to meet.
Yeah, that's fair. There are a lot of words that go into a newspaper. So.
Yes.
And
also, as long as if it's in body copy, does not matter. If it's in the tagline or in the headline or something like that, or even in a little quote thing underneath an image, then they care. But in the body text, as long as it's not a name of something or someone, they don't care. Yeah.
And also in this sentence that begins with "but," it lists the names of the teens.
Yeah.
Which is then we get a description of the teens, and it's like, well, but what description matches what name?
I'm assuming in the order that they said.
Yeah, but still,
it would be good if it would be good if it's Madison, Caucasian. She's tall. She's this. Quentin, he's this and that. And
also,
that.
I was like, they were looking at this pagan ritual about the Midnight Man game, which it's the Midnight Game, not Midnight Man game.
It's in a freaking article. They
which was open blah blah 955 or whatever. By piecing together evidence, it was assumed that the four had played the game.
Yeah,
it's like. Assuming.
And the other thing is the age is 16 to 18. They would know
exactly
the age of each one.
It would honestly have Madison blah, 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 16, in brackets 16. And then like the description.
Yeah, a good way to do this is find a missing persons report.
Yeah, exactly.
And how they do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, missing persons report or a murder report.
Well, you get both honestly because you can do both
because
you need a crime scene kind of. Investigation situation and missing persons.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry to say that I hate to bring this, like, add more information to this, but if you're going to keep all this
it's not BS.
Fluff,
don't be mean.
This information, this intro like stuff, don't have it that like in May of 2013 because in the newspaper you have that they went missing in May 13th. Give us how long has it been since May 13th that you picked up this article? Was it like
we know it's at least we know it's the same month.
It has to be. Yeah, it would be the same month. But I have a feeling that they would not be able to suddenly get the I'll bring it up a little bit later. But like, you might want to have it like maybe a week or two after the events because at least that point, like maybe like the any like search has gone cold. So there's a little bit of die down time. So the parents are maybe not like as like aren't as like freaked out or like pissy.
Also, here's the thing. He just got the newspaper from...
So it would have been like the next day, or like the day after the search.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so it would have been within about 48 hours. Maybe
how long... From
24 hours missing person.
No, I understand that, but from someone going missing to that missing story being in a newspaper, how long is that?
It depends, because police sometimes... withhold that's the story.
Yeah, and they get all
until they get all the information.
So
sometimes but like honestly, again, like that shooting I read was the day before. Was actually that morning, like or that afternoon, and like this was the evening paper. For the next day. So yeah, it would or would be the next day.
But also, this is a missing persons thing, so
not
they need to. Yeah,
so it would probably,
it's not as cut and dry.
Yeah, like with I feel like with like a string of murders, like if it's a serial killer kind of thing, or with missing people, they might wait 24 hours, and then like all right, so now we're going to the 48-hour mark. We need to have the press like send out the word, and so maybe we can get some people like to start looking. Because I've also seen that, like where like an elderly person has gone missing from their home, and they have stints of like dementia or something like that. So people are worried about their safety, and so they set out like they get an article out so that people in the town can like if they spot him.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you're missing about this article is that it's written by the Midnight Man.
Damn.
And he's actually a police officer.
So
that works the midnight.
So is Anthony. He's a journalist and a police officer. My God.
And a supernatural demon.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because he wants people to report to police so he can help cover his own tracks.
That's true. Oh, just look this way?
This is how he's going to make this great discovery, by creating it.
Yes.
Wow.
What a revelation.
Like, are you just supposed to stare at me like you're assuming I'm going to say that? Why would I say, what a revelation?
Anyway, all right. So, do you have anything else on the article, or should I continue?
You can continue.
Okay. The next quote I have. After a 35-minute drive to Sarah's house, she agreed to help me look for said house, knowing that finding a big discovery was on my bucket list. This one's kind of like take it or leave it in terms of like my opinion on it. I feel like there should be more story regarding the girlfriend's support of his obsession. Like, you were just planning on doing this solo.
He never said solo.
I know, but it kind of, to me, it sounded like he was like his
because of the comma situation I mentioned
Yeah.
before. Because I want to do this, comma, myself.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, again, take it or leave it. Like, I feel like that could there should be a little bit more like maybe get rid of the whole the family reunion thing. And or like if you're gonna keep I don't like it. I hate famous reunions. No, it serves no purpose. It just serves no fucking purpose. Yeah.
It also illustrates like how much that one comma earlier with the myself situation changed it. Because for you, it made it seem like he wants to go at this solo.
Yeah.
For me, I just thought that he just wanted to do this and.
Yeah,
it didn't have anything to do with that. Yeah, I read that over as a typo.
Well, it's just like up until this point, like the girlfriend doesn't seem to know anything about his goal of like.
She doesn't say that. She doesn't.
It's not said. That's why I feel like it should be added. That's why I feel like there should be some information added to just give us a little bit more like lean into that for that concept or expectation.
Yeah, like maybe when they're in the car and he's reading the article, he's like, "Hey, look at this! I found this," and then she's like, "Oh, well, I mean, you've tried this in the past. Remember
Small Dog Man?
No, that was his father. I was trying to think of a different one. Remember the 6-legged rape center?
Remember the 11-mile ritual? Like, remember how well that went?
Yeah.
I'm just envisioning him with a paper and putting it in front of her face.
Hey, look at this!
Wow. All right.
There's always silly ways to say things.
Okay, here
we will take them every time.
Okay, so yeah, we're about to go into the part where I was like,
Are we changing gears now?
I face palmed it constantly.
Oh,
and this is the interview. So they had tear-ridden faces and had asked why we were here. S stands for Sarah, M stands for mother, and F stands for father. In terms of the
way it's written,
the way he sets it all up. So I'm not opposed to this to different ways of to show dialogue. But did you have a recorder on standby to transcribe this dialogue? This seems to lend more to a verbatim conversation that you're having, or do you have eidetic memory kind of thing?
He just had a conversation.
Okay, for me it makes sense later on in the story when he's doing the video because he's been watching the videos constantly, so he's able to transcribe it. This is almost verbatim, all the different the dialogue seems verbatim what they said.
But without you being there, you don't know if it is word for word. They could be just rough quotes of what they said.
I guess it's just I probably would have preferred this interview maybe written a little bit more traditionally, I guess. But because the way it's written right as it is, to me it felt like it was a transcript of the dialogue or of the interview with the parents, and less of just as I recall, kind of thing.
It was also a pretty short conversation. I guess.
I don't know. It seemed like that's what sprung out to me when I read it. Is
well, think about it like this: if he's doing this and he's wanting to make this big discovery, I would think, especially if he's going to be putting it online on creepypasta.wiki, I'd think that after the conversation and get the camcorder, he'd go back in the car, let his girlfriend drive, and start typing out what happened in that conversation.
Or even have a notepad or something like that, and just write down what was going on. What the information
is a fedora with a press little card in there.
No, it's just
oh, sorry, I'm from the press.
I mean, yeah, you want to be silly, yes. But and then the next one I have is me. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Murray. I'm really sorry for your loss, but I have a college paper about supernatural beings or rituals, and I heard the thing in the paper about Quentin's browsing history with the Midnight Man game. What? Facepalm. Next one. M, or mother. I don't appreciate that you are trying to exploit my daughter going missing to... And then this is Sarah cutting her off. He doesn't mean it in that way. He doesn't mean it that way, I swear. His dad made a huge discovery in this time, and Anthony just wants to be like his dad. Okay, this is the correct response to this from the mom.
Yes.
Anthony and Sarah's, and however...
Yeah. Honestly, at this point...
Again, facepalm.
At this point, when I was reading through everything, the only sane and likable character so far is the mother.
Yeah. And then at least the narrator... But you know what? At least the narrator has a name naturally given to us in the story.
3/4 of the way through the story.
I mean, whatever.
He's been narrator man the whole time, so he's remained
Again, like, you
man.
never... Like, at least this way, like, he's not saying who he is. It's the story's lending it. It's lending it to the story to give him the
Well,
name.
yeah, but a
It's
quicker
not
way
really-
to do that is in some of the earlier dialogue with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
when
that
she's
could
going
work.
to pick her up. When he's going to pick her up, it's just, oh, hi, Anthony. Like, you know, there's...
That would work, but honestly, this is fine for me. Like, I didn't... Again, like, much like how, like, I'm fine with, like, finding out, like, later on in the story, not having to know right away.
Yeah.
But,
With some things I'm okay with it, with some things I'm not.
Sure. The next one is the father. I don't get what the point is, but here. Maddie's father ran into his daughter's room and quickly returned with a camcorder. That's for the cops to investigate.
Also, when I read that, I'm thinking, like, he sprinted up the stairs.
Yeah. Go. It's like the dad from from Troll 2. It's like... just runs up the stairs like really fast on each step. No.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that killed me.
Anyway, next one is after. So this is when they're at their house and like the power goes out.
Well, before you go there, because I have
sure.
a couple things about all the responses as well.
Sure.
I forgot to chime in. So originally, with the college paper about supernatural beings or rituals, I heard. So first of all, lie to the face of the parents who just lost their daughter.
Yeah.
Like probably not even a week ago.
Well, I know.
Also,
that wasn't a lie. That was just straight up telling the truth.
I have a college paper
On Supernatural, he's doing. It's basically this like doing. He's college level, but he's doing research on supernatural.
He says he has a college paper about like supernatural
Honestly,
beings.
I don't think he lied enough in that dialogue. It's like, hi, we're concerned citizens. Like we're trying to help the authorities or whatever looking into this thing.
That's another way to lie, but he's still...
But like,
because he's not writing a paper about it.
Half lied. Let's be honest.
He's not writing a paper about it for his college.
He's still doing like research on supernatural beings and rituals. And found
it's not like he...
everything else. The only thing that is possibly a lie is the fact that it's a college paper.
Yes,
in that sense.
that's my point.
But it's not enough. Like honestly, again, like
he's
I feel
still
like
lying.
I feel like you should have lied more.
If you say so. Either way, also supernatural beings or rituals, you can't decide what your paper's going to be about. There's an "or" in there for some reason.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't understand. Is that technically an audio Nazi?
No, I mean, no.
Okay. Then, the father's response is what you said. The father's realistic response would be, do you have no shame? We just lost our daughter. It's like, get out of here before I call the cops, kick the shit out of you, or both.
Exactly, yes.
Then the father would be my favorite character.
Like, the mom was like, it's like, I don't appreciate you trying to exploit my daughter's going missing. It's like, yes! Thank you! The first natural piece of dialogue!
Yeah.
The most realistic response.
Yep. And then, the last part that you actually didn't mention anything, her camcorder files were corrupted, but if you can find anything, let us know. Hands me the camcorder, USB core, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm sure this random narrator man and his Sarah can figure this out. It's not like the cops would want or need this evidence.
That's what I meant. Like, that's for the cops to discover or to investigate. Why don't the cops have that in evidence right now?
Yeah.
And doing even if it's corrupted video, they probably have a department for dealing with camera footage. No,
it's creepy.
It does not have to be.
Cops.
I don't care. It has to be. No.
I've already explained this. Midnight Man is on the police department.
He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's not important.
We don't need that. We don't need that. Yeah. Fair. Okay.
At least that makes sense.
On that end, thinking it like that, okay.
In your head canon. Also, do you have any points on the transcript with that conversation? Because I already chimed in, so you might as well.
Well, I already talked about it with how it tied into your whole Anthony's dad discovered Smile Dog.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Moving on then.
The next one. Okay, so this is when the power goes out and when they're looking through the videos, and then they'll whatever.
They're like, whatever. That's an awesome way to describe the scene.
The power goes out and they put the candle on and stuff. And it's so after calling the electric company via cell phone, Sarah and I decided it was time to watch the videos. Sure, what's the worst that can happen? Also, one thing that's bugging me in the story is this was the at this point again, this was at the point where we were about to transition to the awesome part of the story for me. Mm-hmm. And at this point I was like, this is really unnecessary. There's a lot of unnecessary information. This is a really shitty story. And then it goes into gold for me. But everything prior to this event, this section,
you just were not having fun.
I was not. I was like, the bar was super low, the bar was.
Your bar was super high.
My bar was super
but
high.
It was it was laying in the ground in a 20-foot ditch, and the bar is with
reachable. A bridge over top.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can just walk across and not have to jump or do any effort. Yeah. The story was really bad for me until it was really awesome for me. Okay, that's what I'm trying to get at. And this point
you seem very conflicted.
No. This was the tipping point. And then moving on from yes.
Also, with that quote.
Oh no, sorry. One thing before I go, because I did actually read the rest of that. My note on that. I feel like a lot of unnecessary things were expanded on, and a lot of the information that we kind of needed, or a lot of the stuff the interview itself, the plot, it's give me plot device thing, give me the camcorder, or let me go into your daughter's house, daughter's room so I can find, or let me talk to you about your daughter because I'm doing a research paper on supernatural things. It was just all skimmed over compared to the fluff. I think that's my biggest problem, is that it seems like a lot of the there's a lot of fluff information about the reading and all that stuff that is just expanded on, or the bagel thing, and all the information that you really want for the story, to get set up for the transcript, is skimmed over. So that was my biggest. You're supposed to add some tension and suspense, but all those parts are being skimmed over. So
you're just getting bombarded with information and stuff.
Yeah,
I can actually summarize it a little bit with this probably. Look down, back up. Where are you? You're at a house for the facts your story needs. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's a camcorder with the evidence to the things you need. Look again. The evidence is now corrupted. Anything is possible when your characters act weird instead of realistically. We're on a horse. Specifically, I wrote that because at the end of them talking to the parents, it says, after riding back to my girlfriend's house, they're on a horse now?
No, they're not on a horse. They're not on a horse. They're on a horse dog. Look up videos, or look up photos of horse dog, guys. It's creepy as... It's Smile Dog levels of creepy.
I'm sure it is.
But anyway, you had something to say there.
Yes.
I'm on a horse.
I liked that, though. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
So the power goes out.
Yep.
And after calling the electric company via cell phone, who phones the electric company when the power goes out unless you're down on your payments or something?
To find out what the power's out? So they can check and see what the problem is?
Well, it's much easier to nowadays use an app. It'll tell you where the outages are.
Oh my god!
To be fair, he's not wrong.
Kids these days.
To be fair, one of the people at work is always checking power outages because they have rampant power outages out near where he lives.
This was also 2013, not now.
I mean, still 2013 is still not that. It's only 5 years ago.
I know, but are people? I still don't rely on apps to do everything. I wouldn't call the electric company.
These kids are from
I don't
California.
listen to radio. Their music sucks.
These kids are from the States, from California even. They're probably way more up on tech at that time than we were. Mm-hmm. Here up in the Great White North, where we get very shitty phone reception and shit.
So that's my beef with that.
Okay. I didn't find that a problem. What I found that was a problem was before all that, because that quote essentially right before that is him getting the camcorder, going home, hooking it up, power randomly going out, unchecking the hidden items on the box to see the files, and then it talks about Sarah and I decided it's time to watch the video. And then my first thought is, the video that was corrupted, you mean? That is not easy to play? Not as easy to play as just unhiding the files and hitting play? God damn these idiot cops in this world. The worst I've seen yet.
Yeah.
Because if that was the cops' entire problem, like they plug it in, it's like, there's no files there.
Yeah,
That's it.
No.
I mean, apparently this town doesn't have apparently this town's like police department doesn't have a video department or electronics department.
Like, comparatively to everyone else, Anthony Narrator Man is like a tech genius. He's Hacker Man, because he knows how to unhide the files.
No. It explained
No, it's
via my explanation that Midnight Man is on the police force. So he got the camcorder, and then I'll just make these hidden.
There's nothing there.
Okay, in that alternate reality where that is the case, sure.
Why not? Fuck it.
In that alternate canon,
Covering up the evidence.
Yep. At that point, when he just hit delete,
But he wants Narrator Man to find it, aka Anthony.
oh yeah,
yeah,
that's true. So he's hiding
So-
from the cops so he can find. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah, sure.
Because he wants more people
Just
to
not
do
the
the
cops.
ritual, just not the cops.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So, I did actually have one semi-negative thing about the transcript. And that's just when they were talking about the ritual, like when they were doing the ritual stuff. Mm-hmm. So, Chase is holding hands with Tori, and Quentin has his arm around Maddie. They are on her front porch. Aren't they supposed to be at the inside the house when they start this ritual? And this is just like, again, like, kind of like nitpicking about the ritual itself, like, because again, the ritual is left pretty like open-ended, like how you have to do it. Because it says you have to knock 22 times and then open the door and go through and then come back out or come back in.
In the previous creepypasta, it did not say you have to go through anything.
Really? Okay.
You just had to open it up, I believe. I
And
mean,
then close the door.
You open it up and then like it blows the candle out. You close the door.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I assumed you would have to be in the house because after that,
yeah.
after it says you open it and then it blows the candle out, it says you have now let the Midnight Man in your house.
Yeah.
So to let someone in your house, that means you're in the house and you open the door
And
to
like
let them in.
Yeah.
So I would assume they'd be sitting in the front hall on the inside of the front door.
For sure.
Did I just clarify what you wanted to say?
No.
Would you?
Oh,
No.
you look like you were going to say something.
My main issue with what you brought up is in the video, you can see Chase is holding hands with Tori, and Quentin has his arm around Maddie. Who's holding the camera?
Maddie?
Okay, yeah, that's kind of the thing I noticed. Does she have a That's another thing. Does she have a GoPro, or is it like?
No?
No, it's a camcorder. But you can clearly see all these things.
Yeah. Oh no. I think that there's points where the camera's just left on like a table, like where they can see
But
it.
this is
It is a little bit of a continuity issue.
It's not really.
I don't
Like, if she's
care.
just holding the
Like-
camcorder, right, and like we're just hanging out here,
Yeah.
then like just looks over. Oh, there's my boyfriend. There's those two. Like
Yeah.
you could do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
You can still see these things. I'll say this: it could be described a little bit better, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's not like it doesn't break it to
yeah,
me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's raining.
Neat.
Hope your windows are closed.
Nope.
Anyway, so
You don't need to stop to fix that. It's fine.
are they actually not?
Yeah, they're open.
They're open?
Yeah.
Did you want to go fix that?
No.
Okay.
I have rain blockers.
All right. Cool. All right. Anyway.
They're called windows.
All right. Anyway. Let's do this. All right. So the next one is what is it? Actually, this is the so there we get like the first section of it, which nothing really like serious happens. It's just like again like just kind of building up to the creepy shit, and then we get the warning from our friend Anthony. I'm afraid to say, but this is where everything went downhill. The last 5 clips have made me question whether or not I should have began watching them in the first place. So like I mentioned, I really love this transcript setup for the video clips collected, like from the camcorder that the missing victims were using. It's quick. It draws me in. It's fairly immersive. It's probably the best thing going for this story and the highlight of it for me. I just want to continue. Like, I just can't say that enough. Like, this was what made otherwise would have been a bad a shitty pasta for me. And then we have.
I think the bagel made it for me. Also, saying in that context, I imagine just like a plate of pasta. Just like throw a bagel on it. That's better.
Nice.
Sorry. Continue.
And then the next one is Maddie quickly relit her candle. Maddie, 7 seconds. Dear God, that was a close one. She wipes sweat from her brow. Maddie, not bad though. I sure as hell can light a candle quickly. 7 seconds is fast. It's my comment.
Under duress.
I guess it's just like
in the dark.
And fiddling around with a camcorder in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One-handed.
Yeah.
So she would have had to put the camcorder down.
Yeah, but
she has like a quick draw holster situation.
Yes, it doesn't say she puts it down. So I have a note here about this exact thing, where she has one hand on the candle, one hand on the camcorder, and one hand on her lighter.
She has a third arm.
Yep.
Maddie's actually a mutant.
Yep.
Because
or the Midnight Man.
Yeah, the Midnight Man's recording the entire thing, and he's invisible.
So the Midnight Man is Anthony, a newspaper a journalist, a police officer, and a camera guy.
He's also the third-person camera. Yes.
Well, the fourth member of their ritual. So he's he's the camera guy. He's actually the guy who holds the camera the entire time.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My God. Cool. Mm-hmm. All right. And that's my notes until we do tackle, I guess, the photo.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I thought we might, I have, a section just for,
No, I normally do that. That's what I'm saying. I forgot to specifically mention that.
But yeah, so that's my actual thoughts for the story. Until we go to final thoughts, which are...
Words.
Lots of words.
Yeah, it's just a block of words.
Alright, I had a note here somewhere.
I would hope so. You're so prepared.
Alright, just a generalization that Anthony seems way too gung-ho to find something supernatural.
Why?
I mean...
He's wanting to father... He's wanting to follow... He wants to father in his follows footprints.
Yes.
Seriously.
Also, I mean,
I had to make a mental... I had to try to say that wrong that time.
Honestly, he doesn't seem any more, obsessive or, excited about the supernatural than any other, ghost adventure host I've ever seen.
He's the come at me, bro.
Zach Braggins is, probably the, is honestly probably just, the model for Anthony.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what it seems like. It's like, I'm Zach Braggins. I didn't believe in ghosts until I came face to face with one. Now I'm trying to get evidence that they exist.
That's literally this
That's literally his tagline. That's literally his intro in the show.
Alright.
So we hear you, but you're wrong.
Alright, so...
Also, it's always nice to be passionate about what you want to do.
Yes. You're passionate about evilness, aren't you? Well, it's not a secret. The E stands for evil. We know this. It's your Twitter.
Also, no, you can continue. Sorry. I shouldn't interrupt you.
Alright, the ending with the bodies.
You didn't like it?
Where's the disemboweling? Oh,
remember I did propose that maybe it was all hallucination.
Oh, that's true.
They don't actually get disemboweled. They just feel they do.
That's true.
But yes, I do agree. If we want, but then again, even you could have the Blair Witch the newer one, not the good one, where there's actual gore and graphicness and not just like creepiness. But that would ruin it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the way it is now, it actually
I'm
lends
glad
itself
there's
to
no gore.
actually it kind of lends itself to being very similar to the Blair Witch Project, in that like there's not much gore, and the characters vanish for no like mysteriously.
Which is creepy.
After they are found like in weird in like a either like a stupor or some kind or like unconscious and stuff like that. Yeah, I actually feel like this actually works very similarly to the Blair Witch Project, or it was like follows a similar strain.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I hear you. Like, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it could just be that the Midnight Man makes you think that you've been disemboweled.
Yeah. Which is the creepier way to do it.
Yeah. Also,
the less
I was
messy one.
legitimately expecting them just to be dead. I did not. I was like, oh, they appear unconscious.
Appear. They could actually
Appear
be dead.
unconscious. Yeah, that's true.
Because this is also a completely distraught 16-year-old girl.
Also, is it just again? Not to take over again. Is it just
fine,
me,
that's what you do.
Or could you I could see this transcript being easily just made into a short web film,
Yes.
or a short YouTube video.
Because all
there
of
is
them are described quite well.
There is not just that. There is nothing in this transcript other than like her creepiness and like insinuations of the supernatural. This could easily be done like in terms of in terms of budget. This could be done like in a day.
Totally. We can go do it right now.
We
Put it on
Patreon.
Patreon.
We just need another person.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be Maddie. You'll be Quentin.
Ew. I'll be the Midnight Man and just kill you.
Sure. Right.
I am a ninja after all.
That's fair. But yeah, anyway.
I'm not going to roleplay as your partner. I'm sorry.
Damn. All right, whatever. So yeah, sorry, not to
You
take
better
over.
draw the cultist with like a wig on.
Not to take over. I didn't mean to like derail it there. I just realized that was a thought coming through my mind. It's like I could easily see this be done as a short film
Because all the scenes are described quite well.
Exactly, yeah.
To the point that it gives you a very good visual.
Yes. But yeah, sorry, Mikey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were saying things I forgot.
And then also at the ending,
Yes.
with the candle going out,
Yes.
it has no real scare factor because of the fact that they didn't do the ritual.
It's just the window was open and there was a. It was a.
To that point, I agree with you, but the second point, it is a really nice, tidy close of the story itself.
Because it's like end scene.
It's a nice wraparound, ending.
Yeah.
I like it for that. I agree with you. They weren't playing the game, and so is the video clips cursed?
No,
But
the Midnight Man isn't coming after them.
But they are getting spooked because the power suddenly went out when they started looking at the video, and then after they finished all the videos, the candle goes out. I was like, that's a good narratively and theatrically, that is probably the best thing about that wraparound.
That could have been just simply they're intently watching the movie. I'm doing a visual joke, but they're intently watching the movie and the candles in front of them, and then at the end it's like, oh, the candle went out. They weren't trying to. They just exhaled because
Exactly.
it's like, wow.
That would be the part where it's creepy. If the film ends right there, as the candle goes out, that would be creepy. But then it goes a little bit further. And it's like, oh, it was just one of them. They realize it was just one of them. Breathing really close because they're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I only partially agree with you. It's not. It doesn't make sense to what's going on. But to me, it was a good ending because it concluded it. It concluded it. It concluded.
It's completing and concluding at the same time. Concluded. It's a word now. Put it on Urban Dictionary.
Don't, please. Oh my God.
And reference the cultist.
It ties it all together and just ends it. And it was a nice little narrative flair. And I was I was happy. It makes no goddamn sense for the it was the best thing about the wraparound for me.
I'll say this: it wouldn't make sense, and I'd be pissed off if it continued from there.
Yeah, but
showing that they are haunted now by the Midnight Man, but they're not.
No, it just ends.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. 2 thumbs up.
And I've finished my actual thoughts, and
Okay.
there's more final thoughts, but that's for later.
I know, right?
I have a feeling that those would be final.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
in a finale situation. And, yeah.
But Gamer, what do you think for your actual thoughts?
I think I've chimed in with a lot of things. Let me see.
I mean, you have, but it's been kind of annoying. But no, I'm kidding. I'm legit kidding.
I would hope so.
I've been chiming in with things too, which
Yeah.
is why mine wasn't that long.
Yes.
That's how we do things here.
So, after reading the newspaper article about the missing teens, he says... Yeah, okay, sorry. The way it was written, I thought it was my own notes, but it's not. Wow, after telling myself I wanted to make supernatural breakthrough, this sounded like a perfect opportunity. And what I thought after that is, and the opportunity to disrespect an entire town. These kids have actually gone missing. It hasn't even been a month.
Dick.
It hasn't even been a month that
Yeah.
you're trying to use this to make yourself "quote unquote" famous.
Yeah,
He's just immediately a dick.
yeah.
So,
Way to be humble there.
Yeah, it's like really too soon.
Yeah.
Super too soon. And then after a 35-minute drive to Sarasota, she agreed to help me look for the house, blah, 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 big discovery, bucket list. And what they also don't mention is apparently she also doesn't mind that he's disrespecting the entire town that she lives in. Exactly.
So continuing on that thought process of, just...
She might not be from the town initially, so she might not know anyone.
So she doesn't
She's a
care.
complete loner.
Yeah.
Actually hates all of her neighbors.
Yep.
Anyways, moving on to the footage of the corrupted footage, where the narrator man, well, Anthony at this point, he uses M for Madison, Q for Quentin, C for Chase, and T for Victoria.
Okay, no,
I know.
yeah,
but that's my problem.
yeah. Honestly, I didn't know hers. No, sorry, I didn't. Yeah, just like okay. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, specifically that's a problem because at the start of that, he clarified that Madison was called Maddie in this, and Quentin was called Q, but he doesn't take the time to write down that Victoria is called Tori in this.
Yeah,
And especially when it's abbreviated to a T. Until I read back over, I'm like, who the hell is this T person? I have to go back up to the list of the teens. I'm like, nope, none of them start with T. But Victoria isn't mentioned, shortened as Tori, okay.
Yeah.
So once again, I have to either go back or forward to clarify something that's going on.
backward, not forward.
Yeah. Also, what were you going to say?
No, I was just gonna say like, I think I was just honestly gonna say the same thing you just said. Where,
Cool.
like Tori is is used a lot in that transcript by the people in the dialogue for her name. Like they never mention her name as Victoria.
Yes.
it's always Tori.
But they never mention Madison's name as
Madison. It's just Maddie. Yeah.
Or, oh no, Quentin is yelled. But either way.
Quentin. A couple times I hear just Q.
Yes, and that's why it's abbreviated before the whole transcript. It says Madison is Maddie, Quentin is Q.
Yeah.
So all I would like is Victoria is Tori.
Yeah,
Done.
fair enough.
That's all I'm asking for. And then everything else I've talked about.
Okay, then I guess we'll move on to the photo. If you guys have any information or anything on it,
I didn't write anything on it, but let me look at the photo real quick.
well, I'll start with my. Should I start with mine then, or should I wait till you like get an unbiased look at it?
I mean, I've seen it before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to
So,
double check it. It didn't load. It's
Yeah,
fine.
the photo's in like a spot right near the end. Like there's like
Yep.
I think a paragraph or two, or like a paragraph afterward.
Yep.
The photo kind of works. It's creepy-ish enough, but it's a bit too dark.
Yep.
With the blur.
It's not dark enough.
For me, I almost like I had to squint a couple. I took about 2 minutes to actually realize where the creepy figure was. Because I kind of blended right into the. I saw. I had it on like my Google Doc, and then I actually read the story on the wiki with the dark screen, and I still had a hard time. I don't know if it's just like my eyes or something. I had a hard time looking at it. Let me see it.
I'm loading. Hang on, I got to reconnect.
But yeah, if the also I have an issue with this in regards to like the story because if the camcorder is dropped to be on its side the way it is in the story. Mm-hmm. I believe the photo should actually be in portrait style, and the content on its side. As it is, it's landscape style. That's like basically like 8.5 by 11, we'll say. But like the 11 is on like longer.
It's not.
But,
It's
like-
not the proper orientation.
Exactly, yeah. The orientation's kind of wrong because if it was on its side, everything, even if it was like reoriented to be like that landscape style, there should be less. Like stuff on the side, or there should be less stuff on the Like it should look like the character. Like if they're trying to reorient it so that the everything's right side up.
Well,
It would be like it would be portrait style, or if it was like natural, like how it would be like when you print that off, the landscape style would be a little bit shorter, or there'll be a little bit more sky and. Let's see it.
You can't see that guy.
Oh wow! Okay, okay, that's a lot better than.
I think just your monitor's super
my monitor
dark.
is just really shitty apparently because that is like
you do use a Mac.
I can see that 100% now. Okay, I it works pretty well then in terms of like it's a creepy figure. But yeah, it's just like my issue really is just that the orientation is wrong in terms of like what the story says.
Yeah, it honestly looks like this is a screenshot from her running like
Yeah,
past
exactly.
the guy.
Yeah, she like looks over, like she turns around, but like
Yes.
if the camera's supposed to be on its angle. Yeah, it's just angled wrong.
Also, it's even if it's supposed to be on the ground, it's not. It's hovering at head height.
Yeah,
It's not sitting on the ground.
yeah, exactly. It should
So-
be
and the other key point is there's too much light in the photo.
For it to be midnight?
Well, no,
For it to be
3:30. Yeah, 3:33.
It's still dark. You shouldn't be able to see sky. It should be stars.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
be,
it's blue.
Yeah, it's blue and like for real. Like it would not be even like early morning that point. Like, there should,
Why is it blue?
wouldn't even be pre-dawn. It's basically. I wonder. Like it
Did
might
they take
be,
us in the middle of the day and then it photo edited it?
I don't think it's day for night. I think it's probably like twilight.
Yeah.
It's probably like because all the lights, all the street lights are on, right?
Yeah.
So
Or that might be light pollution.
yeah, it could also be light pollution, but I don't think so.
Light
It's-
pollution would be red.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the sky itself would be if the light pollution also requires a lot of with light pollution, it would either have to be really cloudy to actually like see the sky, or it would just be black. Even with light pollution.
Okay, well either way.
But yeah, that's it works, but there's an issue of like where it is. Like it's creepy enough, but it's wrongly
There's a
oriented.
continuity issue?
Yeah, continuity orientation issue with the photo.
So
itself.
one might say it matches the creepypasta because there's continuity issues in the creepypasta too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my photo notes. So, do you guys got anything about it further, or
No, my biggest issue was that the sky was blue.
yeah, that was lightning.
That was. My
That was thunder.
Oh god! The house is coming down. I wonder if they actually picked that up.
That totally does.
Nice.
Guaranteed that'll pick up. Future vision like it didn't.
Son of. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
So my biggest problem with the picture is the fact it's just kind of a dude with a sleeveless blue shirt and tan cargo pants.
Oh my god, you zoomed it in.
It's just a dude with a blue cut-off shirt and tan cargo pants.
Yeah, it really is.
So
And,
it's literally
or-
just-
to me. It either be cargo pants, or he's just like his arms are like his got really like long arms, just like just like one arm's like right in the back, like basically like swung to the back, so you can see it between his legs.
What?
Can you not see that?
Why are you looking between his legs?
Oh, that little bit of like shadow there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, what I would assume is because we clearly know that the Midnight Man is also a police officer, this is just him off duty, walking over to her house with a shotgun.
Yeah, clear.
And that's just like a sawed-off shotgun, and just the angle of it is protruding down there. Because, yeah, it's totally just a dude wearing clothes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, and...
From a distance, though, it does look creepy. But like, yeah, if you zoom it in, it kind of ruins it. Even
honestly,
with the blur.
as soon as I saw it, I saw the blue and I saw the tactical yellow
I feel
pants.
like if they wanted to get like the photo, like again, have the camcorder on the ground and like on its side, have a guy in a morph suit walking from and not I guess like walking down the like it could be from the sidewalk or probably like angle it so it's looking toward a house. as it's coming toward
use
us.
street lights to backlight them.
That's true. Yeah, you do.
So you can see the morph suit guy. But yeah, and also like it's all motion blurred, so it looks like this is taken from the movement.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which might be the case, but the whole...
you know, that's also true. Yeah, like it does. Like maybe this was like when it was falling.
Yeah,
but
it's just a weird time to take it because the creepiest part of all the images is when it's on the ground because she dropped it and like it's coming after him. You figured that'd be the perfect time to do it.
Yeah. Instead of this action shot
of a dude slowly walking towards her.
Yeah. Well, he is walking slowly toward her in the story. Like she's not like the video shows that it's not like running toward her. It's just like methodically not methodically because it doesn't say that. But like I think it says that it's like it's slowly like approaching her or something.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's the photo. That's anything more about the photo?
No, that's about it.
Okay. And I guess we'll go into final thoughts now. So my end actually was my thing was I thought So like I said before, I actually thought the ending bit was decent, given the transcript. But it does strengthen my biggest issue with the story, which is the first 2 pages of content. Because I like the idea of someone researching the occult side of creepypasta rituals and think that could go somewhere. Like, again, he's like trying to make this discovery and trying to like prove that that this shit exists and stuff like that. But it's like this part is written by a completely different, by someone completely different, or in like a completely different way. Like this, like the first part was written like years earlier, and then like they decided to pick it up again and write like something, or like again, like I said, this person's better at writing scene for scene like sequences than they are writing like a more traditional narrative story. Mm-hmm. Anthony's research methods and narrative is skimmed, and the story focuses on unnecessary fluff, like driving his girlfriend to a reunion that goes nowhere. The dialogue during the interview with the parents of the missing is contrived and clunky, filled with very direct, give them the plot motivation. It could have been handled much better. Perhaps if Anthony was a crime investigator looking for the missing kids, or better yet, a relative of the missing trying to find answers, it can be done as an occult researcher angle, like as it is. It just for me, it wasn't presented well and needs to be retooled, like completely reworked. As a wraparound narrative, as to why they have the video clips and are doing this whole thing, could easily be shortened down to a few paragraphs at most, detailing how and why he got the clips and the story. It would be better for it. Just that story, like as I mentioned earlier. I don't want to just not recommend the story, however, because I genuinely like the transcript of the video files. It's done well. I could visualize it really well. That's why I'm going to give this story a half recommendation. Just personally, maybe skip the first bit of the story. Like, if you just want some like a creepy, immersive like transcript of like somebody doing the the midnight ritual, mm-hmm. Just read the transcript and maybe like the little blurb above it, where he like talks about compiling the clips and stuff like that, and then like the last bit. That's about it.
So your recommendation would be a little bit different than what the writer does, specifically in the story, where he goes, at this point, stop reading. you at the start of the story, at this point, stop reading and jump to this page.
Yeah.
That's what you would do.
Basically.
So basically you're saying, where it says at this point stop reading, is that
start reading.
Start reading.
Well, no, that's also halfway through the transcript.
Yeah, that's halfway through the transcript.
Yeah.
I want you to read all the transcript, because that, like, even that the beginning stuff of the transcript, where nothing really happens,
it's necessary.
It's necessary because this story actually the transcript actually gives you a creepypasta of the ritual, like somebody doing the ritual and us giving a play-by-play of like them conducting the ritual and consequences of doing that ritual. Mm-hmm. It was in terms of a creepypasta that's supposed to write a story or write a narrative that you can read and not get bored, or not just be instructions on how to do something. It was good, and I liked it. And I don't say just good as in like, oh, it's just standard. No, good as in it was good. It was.
You're not saying it's
positive.
adequate. You're
it was
saying
a
it's
positive thing.
Yes.
Just because every time I say good, sometimes when I say good, people are just like, well, it was adequate. It's like, no, it was a positive thing. Good.
When did good become adequate?
Yeah, exactly.
Good things are good.
Exactly. So, that's my recommendation. I have recommended. If that first section gets like reworked, I could maybe do a full recommendation. Mm-hmm. But I'd have to see. But yeah, the story started bad for me. Like I was like going into this not really liking it, and then it immediately won me over with that transcript.
Yeah.
But Mikey, the East Sensory Law, what do you think?
I think it's the first time you've seen, like, I've seen you have that big of a difference.
Oh yeah,
reading through it, where like I am not enjoying it, and all of a sudden, oh wow.
Yeah, no, I think I've only had it like once or twice, but I can't remember.
Can you think of one? No.
Off the top of my head, no.
Fair. But you have read hundreds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the story does have issues, as we've pointed out.
No.
Yeah. And like we said, that the transcript does work well, especially when it shows humans being humans. When the guy just goes upstairs to take a poop.
Yeah, like just blatantly breaking the rules of the ritual.
What do you want me to do? Just shit in the middle of the living room?
Oh, where's Chase? Oh, he's sleeping on my lap. Why is he sleeping? The ritual says not to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that they broke every
I also like how Maddie just breaks down. Like she tries to keep like oh yeah, we're having fun, and she like is genuinely like bawling and terrified because she's so like it's a natural reaction to like get like that super like hyped and scared about doing something. Like I remember as a kid, like as in my early teens, like I was super hyped up to like hang out with my buddies and like go like have a sleepover and watch scary movies, and then like I was like freaked out about the woods in the back of in the dark and so that because we just watched like one of them play Fear, and Elmo was gonna get me in the woods.
For half a second, I thought you said Elmo was gonna get me.
Elmo, but no, like Alma from like Fear, like the little creepy like ring witch from like a J horror was gonna get me. But yeah, like I could very much relate to the transcript is really what I'm just saying. So anyway, sorry though.
So this story also does things that we don't see a lot in creepypastas, like the fact that people have names.
Yeah, everyone except for the parents, but they're really not.
That's father, mother,
Mr. and Mrs. Madison. Or no, sorry, Mr. and Mrs.
Father Madison. He's a priest.
Wait, was it? Father Maxie.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
What?
Father Maxie from South Park.
Oh yeah, he's always forgettable because he doesn't do anything.
All right,
Mr. and Mrs. Murray.
Here,
sorry,
that's why I said Murray.
Oh, did you? Okay, so, I'm sorry.
All right.
This guy, unfucking believable. If I could do a better Christopher Walken, I would have. This guy.
So, I'm going to give it a 75% recommendation.
Wow.
He likes something more than you!
Holy shit. It's just because that first two paragraphs is really bad for me. Like, I really did not enjoy it at all. But I really loved that. Apparently, like...
You loved it more.
Apparently, damn.
Yeah, well, it was bad. I can't...
You can't say it either. You can't dispute that.
I can't dispute that, so that's why it's dig marks. But then, like I said, it goes back up because the characters have names, and the transcript just is so much better.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Damn, alright, cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think this is the first where Mikey has liked something more than the contents.
And again, I can't overstate that, like, I love that transcript. I just hate everything else about the story.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Now, you could almost say that the transcript, or the part before the transcript, needs to be there. because it needs to bring the bar down so that when you get to it, you're going, oh man, this is good. Because of how horrible it is.
It was set up like that on purpose.
Yeah, it's like wow, this is just a really okay, this is like our bread and butter clunky crappy pasta, and then it became a good creepypasta. Like right afterward,
It's almost like they hand you a plate of pasta with no topping on it. It's like it's not that good, and then they bring out best sauce and
pour that on,
put like meatballs on it,
put some pepper and some Parmesan going on. Yeah,
that's so much better. I hear you.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I am also on that kind of on that view of it where it's equivalent to like. If you're in like a muscle car or something, you have the line lock on, and you're just jamming the throttle on, and you're just spinning tires, but you're going nowhere, right? Yeah. And then at some point you turn the line lock off, and it just goes.
Yeah,
because it does just immediately start. Yeah. So
like as soon as those videos start going, it's like, all right, I'm invested. Like, what's going to happen to Maddie? Like. Oh man, like, and we know that Maddie and all her friends go missing, but like, how? And it's like, what's going to happen to them?
Also, we don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, they just vanish. Like, they're unconscious. Like the three of them are unconscious, and Maddie goes running and then like falls and like drops the camera. We have no idea what's happened to them.
No,
like, and I'm not entirely pissed that we don't. I'm just. I
know. For once, me too.
Right? It's kind of like the Blair Witch Project again. Like I bring it up. Like this one's very much akin to the Blair Witch Project in story form. Because, like, at the end of the Blair Witch Project, everybody's gone missing, and you're left to speculate, but in a good way.
I hate the way my brain works. As soon as you're like,
I'm with you, man. Like, I hate how my brain works sometimes.
As soon as you're like, it's like the Blair Witch Project again. I'm bringing it up again. I just immediately imagined you throwing up a DVD of the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, okay.
That's why I hate how my brain.
I thought you were saying it was like because like something like how like you're having these like we'll read a story like one week, and it's like the ending is similar but like doesn't quite hit the mark, and like I'm like, okay, this is like, and I'm fine with it. Like I'm fine not knowing something, but you're like, oh, I hate this, and then like this one is like it's basically the same kind of thing that we've had multiple times, but the mark was hit, somehow. Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure why, or like how it was met, but it was met.
It's just because it's sufficiently creepy, and it's not just gore. It's equivalent to like I'll go back to pasta references. Okay, spaghetti, right, with just the right amount of sauce on it. With some Parmesan and meatballs and stuff. That's awesome.
But not like
where most of them were like a lot of the creepypastas I read. It's here's your plate of pasta. Here's a bucket of sauce. I'm just going to dump all the gore on it.
Here's a pyramid of meatballs.
Yeah. Well, not even that. I'm just saying, like, dump all of the sauce on it. It's just completely covered in gore, is what I'm getting at. Where it's actually kind of better to limit the gore or completely eliminate it because it makes it more creepy.
I think honestly that's what I've been trying to say to you like over the last couple of
I don't love gore porn.
No, I don't. When a story like less is more to make things creepy.
Yeah.
And you don't always have to have things explained entirely. But that's
except when you do.
Except when you do. But like again, like there's a meteor you have to like there's a line you have to meet, and this one meets that for like in the second half of the story, or the second part, because it's actually like 2 pages I don't like of the story out of like 11.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think either of you really mentioned it, but the transcript about them talking to the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, some stupid things were mentioned. I'm on a horse situation.
Yeah.
But that is kind of when the creepypasta actually started for me.
Oh, really?
Because I was able to start visualizing things, and I'm seeing things happen, and like they're actually, the ball's getting rolling.
Yeah.
At that point, you've disengaged the line lock, and the wheels are still spinning, but you're starting to move. And then when it gets to the actual recording, then like you got proper grip, and you're going.
Yeah, I think. And maybe it was just because I was still like fuming from like how clunky the rest of the story was prior to that. But like, it's still like it wasn't until basically. They were sitting on the couch. The lights were the power guy
after they called the electric company,
and they were like getting ready to and then he described like that he had gone through the videos multiple times and done this and then here's the transcript. And like it wasn't until that point, for me anyway, like that the car got rolling.
Mm-hmm. Like there were still problems, multiple problems in between there and then. Like the whole corrupted file situation, nothing was corrupted really.
There's some static.
I know, but there's still so much information in there that the cops would want.
I know, exactly. So, it's like, why don't the cops have this?
It's
like, hence why I said, like, I suggested that maybe the guy should have been one of the police, like a detective or a police investigator.
Yeah.
Like, that would have lent to, like, having that content.
That's how he has it.
Yeah, and for some reason he's leaking it online, maybe does somebody have any more information about this kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, that could be, I mean, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. In that sequence, realistically, that's not how you do things. Like, he'd be fired for that, but...
He's the rookie investigator.
Yeah.
And Midnight Man is the senior investigator. So they already have the camcorder, and Midnight Man's already hidden the files, but the junior investigator's like, but there's hidden files. Because he finds them.
Sure.
Still going on the fact that the Midnight Man is everyone. Everyone is the Midnight Man.
Yes. You're the Midnight Man. You're the Midnight Man. I'm the Midnight Man. You folks at home, you're even the Midnight Man.
Look under your chair.
It's a Midnight Man.
You get a Midnight Man. You get a Midnight Man. Yeah.
Either way.
Either way. So
yeah, I enjoyed it too. I got very angry, just like you did. I don't know if I got more or less angry, but I mean, I ripped apart an entire paragraph, sentence by sentence, just to make sense of it.
By the way, I did actually cut this down. This was originally going to be 5 pages.
Okay.
Because I had the entire article and a whole blurb at the halfway through the transcript that I wanted to gush over, and I actually restrained myself and cut that out.
Yeah.
So yeah, this 4-page content document on like on my notes and stuff like that. It was going to be a full 5 pages, and I deducted the stuff from it because I was worried about what length.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was the same. Basically, I feel like we were all on the same fucking page.
Pretty much. Yeah. But like when I'm reading a creepypasta, there's a few things that make me like it. Yeah. Immersion. I was both immersed and not immersed because there was a lot of weird decisions early on and how the father didn't give a shit. But once it got into it, I got super immersed. A reason to put it online, the guy wants to get famous.
Yeah.
If I had to give it a number, I don't know. Because I got so mad at it. But then I got so happy. So because of that, I want to give it a 50% because I was so conflicted. But it is so well done, I want to recommend it still. But I'm also going to recommend that it gets a little bit of a rework on the backstory.
Yeah, somebody has to, preferably the author himself, or themselves, rework that first bit. Like,
I don't even care if it's twice as long.
Yeah, like
it make it flow better, so you don't have to go back or forward to find information that is necessary to understand what's going on.
And get rid of any
leave the bagel in. The bagel's fine.
All right, that's agree to disagree.
Fine. That's the straw.
Fluff sometimes has to get cut out. Like you sometimes need to cut some of that fat to get to the meat.
Yeah, that's true. Either way,
yes.
So I'll recommend people read it just because of how good it is. But I'll also recommend that the writer goes back and makes it even better, because that'd be awesome.
All right. So, that was our episode this week. If you like what you heard, if you didn't, leave us a comment in the comment section below where this gets posted, whether it be on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube, or Tumblr. We're on Twitter. Mikey is at the East Ends for Evil. I'm at Review Cultist.
I'm actually on Twitter as well.
Oh, you are?
I have a Twitter. I never use it, though.
Okay.
It's probably the Gamer in Yellow. I don't know.
Next episode, we'll figure that out.
All right, whatever.
The Gamer in Yellow is on Xbox Live, but
at Gamer in Yellow.
The Gamer in Yellow is on Xbox Live at Gamer in Yellow with spaces because he finally changed it.
I get tired of it all being one word.
Yeah,
it just looked like a bunch of verbal diarrhea.
The Gamer in Yellow. Yeah,
that's how you had to say it.
Yeah. So, and you can send us stuff on that in the comments. You can also send us emails at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can also send us emails for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. If you'd like to check out the title cards for each episode, you can go to crazonstudios.tumblr.com, crazon.deviantart.com, or on our YouTube channel, Al Dente Rigamortis, where we have the videos of each episode.
Also, speaking of that, I truly hope that Crazon draws me on a horse holding a camcorder.
I'm gonna have to remember him.
You should tell him to do
remind him. Yeah, I'll remind him.
I like that.
Future me, you know what to do. And because I know you'll be drawing that while you listen.
You get oh shit, I forgot. You have to redraw the entire thing.
Well, I usually draw the thing, like the creature or something like that first, and then I'll draw us like quivering in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, what? No, anyway, people should know at this point that I'm the artist.
People should know.
Anyway, if you'd like to help support the show, you can go to Patreon or tell your friends. But go to
or
Patreon.
both.
Yeah, or both. And you can go to Patreon, look up Al Dente Rigor Mortis, and select the backer tier you'd like to support us at. We currently have $2 and $5 tier, but any bit helps. We appreciate everything that anyone does for us.
Including watching the video.
Exactly.
Or listening to
the episodes
audio.
or watching the video portions. And again, comment if you have an opinion or if you think that we're wrong or you think that you just you like something. Quote us. I don't give a shit. We always get a kick out of when we hear something, like when we get comments, regardless.
Oh yeah, some of the comments that we've gone over, especially when me and Mikey do the other show, which you'll probably plug in a minute. I probably should have said this afterwards. Either way, have actually helped us. Like I can't remember that last one. But I believe it was one of the Icar Falls ones where they brought up a point. Yeah, there was a comment that completely justified something that we didn't understand.
Okay.
I think it was something to do with the East Side West Side situation.
Coast to coast.
Yeah, because being a kid of coast to coast or something like that, and we didn't even notice that.
We have $2 or $5 tier. You get behind the scenes content, extra episodes. Early access to episodes, so you get them on Tuesdays rather than Thursdays. That's the $5 tier. And special episodes include
Al Dente Reloaded at the $5 tier, where Mikey and I go back to the good, the bad, and the ugly pastas that the cultists and the Doctor have done in the past and see what our thoughts are on them. And Al Dente Revelations at the $2 tier, where Mikey and I continue those thoughts after listening to the old episodes that the cultists and the Doctor did, and possibly have a mind-breaking revelation while doing so. Also, making sure that the artist learns how to art.
Yeah. I think I actually commented in the Icar Falls one that you guys recently did.
Yes.
I actually, in the blurb, because you have to do a description or something of that, in there, I straight up just, comment as the artist, is I totally fucked up this, I mixed it up, my bad, I apologize.
Why did you comment in the comments?
Huh?
You should have commented.
I commented in the description. That was my description, my response. It's just it happens. I'm sometimes rushed when I do it, and that's not an excuse.
No,
but it's the only thing I have. The only reason why it came out probably was because I was probably trying to get both of them done at the same time, and I just got mixed up.
It happens.
Yeah. But anyway, and for all our patrons that are helping us support the show already, thank you immensely. You're keeping those hosting bills at bay, and we very much appreciate it. Those things are monsters.
They are.
But again, seriously, every little bit helps. And to our listeners and the authors of each creepypasta that we've discussed on the show, and I've personally read, even prior to the show and stuff like that, thank you immensely. You have provided us content personally and for the show. Without you, we wouldn't have the show. So thank you. And so until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
I'm Mikey, the E stands for evil.
And I'm the gamer in yellow.
And this has been Al Dente Rigor Mortis. Sleep well.